let's go directly into Game 2 of TL Open number 13, TSL Qualifier number 6 between ZeeRax and QXC.
Link engaged.
Welcome, folks.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Wheat. It's your turn. It's your turn. You always
okay.
do the number 2.
Sorry, I just kind of jumped into there. Guys, welcome. It is Lost Temple. We are on Game 2 of the TeamSpeak Team Liquid Open number 13, also a TSL Qualifier number 6, in fact, where QXC is leading his Protoss opponent ZeeRax 1-0 in a best of 5 here. And ZeeRax, well, what is he going to do for us this game day? I do not know, but QXC has remained solid. He's been in assembly. He's obviously had the chance to play against a field of just absolutely remarkable players, and anytime you get a chance to do that, it's always going to be awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, he is currently in the zone. QXC is one of those players who does really love being under a lot of pressure. Just has to make sure he doesn't do any little slip-ups, because we saw a couple of those happen in that Game 1 against Select, but he really buckled down. But, he's coming off to that early lead, the 1-0. So this is going to be already a nice little spot. Yeah. I mean, I actually remember there was some statistic in the early Brood War day that was 90% of series that were best of 5 was won by whomever won Game 1, which is an astounding percentage to me. It was so high. It was like 88 or something like that. I mean, it was really crazy. So we do see QXC hoping to be contributing to that 90%. He is throwing down his barracks after his gas geyser. So again, a very fast factory, but I'm curious if his timing's going to be a little off the way it was against Select in that Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now we can kind of confirm, was that, a happy accident that he was planning for from the very beginning, or was that indeed just sort of a slight mistake there? As Select did call him out for probably being tired, just playing some mind games over there. But QXC is going to be on a scouting route. ZeeRax is going to scout the bottom south location first and then make his way over to QXC's base, see exactly what is going on. And ZeeRax has opened with the exact same opener in every game that we've witnessed here during the semifinals and the finals. And you know what? Based off of his pylon placement and how he's been playing, I don't expect anything but exactly that.
Yep, does look like we see the reactor going down. ZeeRax getting his very fast second geyser. And, a lot of Protosses, I will say, have been neglecting to get a really early second geyser, instead favoring a little bit more fancy fast 2 gates, a little bit more fancy early expands and that sort of thing. I mean, it's very, very cool to see him not only returning to this little bit more of an old school, I love gas style of Protoss, but also saying, hey, let's do a little bit more new school stuff and get this ultra robo hero action going up. But I'm very curious to see how QXC is going to play off with a double Hellion opening against Protoss. This is quite uncommon.
Yeah, it is definitely a little bit different. And, with that answering our question, too, QXC definitely on top of his timing right now. And maybe it has to do with the fact that he is actually going to get some quick distance covered with these Hellions. So we'll see 2 come out, and we'll see what follows up as well. Now, one thing to note is that ZeeRax has had pretty light unit composition early on. He's always had this sentry here to block off any shenanigans, and it's worked for him a couple of different times. But when it hasn't, QXC making the bunker, obviously working at that angle. So, I'm curious to see how this will play out.
Yep, we do see that there's that Observer popping out right now. A great little force field at the ramp. Observer now trying to do a little bit of anything, but it looks like he's just scouting these Hellions, trying to keep an eye on those, and it looks like, oh no, they managed to get up the ramp. No Stalkers. Is going to have a very, very hard time trying to catch up. QXC doing the smart thing, trying to pick off the sentries. Does manage to get one more Hellions pop up. I don't believe it. What a cool way to open. This perfectly deals with the way that ZeeRax is playing. No Stalker at all. The warp gate is delayed. Hello, probes, and good night. Poor little workers. QXC's astounding early game aggression timing is just ending the life of ZeeRax before our eyes.
Yeah, I don't see this one going much past here. Immortal is going to come out. That will do some damage, but hello, Banshee. as it will just be the cherry on the top of this cake. And there is GG. What an amazing, just absolutely perfect, as if QXC said, I've seen this movie 12 times. I can recite every single line from it. Watch this. And, that's exactly what I felt like happened. The Immortal was on its way, but it was a little bit late. QXC looked like he knew exactly what he needed to do to get, actually to just directly combat that opening from the Protoss. Amazing.
Yeah, this is exactly the way the QXC likes to play. I mean, QXC is the kind of guy who will just put you out of your comfort zone. As we saw in those games against Straylock, I mean, ZeeRax just, made the units that he wanted to make. Straylock made the stuff he wanted to make, and then they just sort of informally met in the middle for a battle. It was kind of like this afterthought to being allowed to do what you wanted. But QXC was right up in ZeeRax's face with the bunkers in game 1, and then immediately right up in his face with the Hellions in game 2. Very unusual to see Hellions come out at that point in time. But QXC just not even letting ZeeRax get his build off the ground.
He made up his mind. He stuck to it. And I'll tell you what, he had to have been happy with that victory. It's not very often you're going to be able to take, what was that game? Just over 5 minutes, I think. Just over 5 minutes. It's not very often you're going to be able to take away a championship game in such a way. Now, what I'm even more curious about, Day, is the fact that almost seemed like he kind of did a build that pretty much directly crushes what I've been doing. So now, will we see ZeeRax stay consistent, keep with this build, or, will we see something else?